the joint chiropractic adjustment of the game. Big play here for the University of Miami. Jalen Knighton coming out of the backfield. A nice angle in. And look at this. He bounces off of Brownlee. Pinballs off him. Great block from Romello Brinson. And Jalen Knighton takes it 35 yards into the end zone for a touchdown. What a play by Jalen Knighton. That is our joint chiropractic adjustment of the game. All right, welcome back to the show. Joe Zagacki, Don Bailey Jr., Josh Darrow, our podcaster and sideline reporter on the radio. Hurricanes will play Virginia Tech this weekend, 7:30 kickoff at Hard Rock Stadium. We have talked about Florida State, I think, over and over. And perhaps now the most important part of Florida State is don't lose that game twice, which has happened in the past.
It can, Joe, and a part of it is the physical side of it. I think that everybody who tuned into that game, us three, of course, being there personally, the closest game that I saw to that physically was the Alabama game. And that game gives you a physical hangover, no matter what it is. And then you throw on a close loss, it could make it even worse. It's going to take the leadership for senior day to make sure that Miami gets themselves focused on Virginia Tech. And Virginia Tech, we know again, is a team that's fighting for a lot. They're sitting there fighting for a bowl just like Miami is, Josh.
Absolutely, and Coach Diaz alluded to it earlier with you guys. You look at their resume and their schedule, it's just like this a little bit too, you know. They just kind of took Duke apart offensively. The week before they scored 3 points against Boston College. So and being on the sidelines for Florida State, there are many people that were had to seek medical assistance. It's that kind of game. It's that physical. It's that kind of intensity. So there's a lot to kind of get caught up and reset and reboot for this game, both health-wise, mentally, and as Don talked about, you got a group of kids here every year that give their all to this university, and they deserve to go out with their best.
Obviously, sitting here at 500, that's a tough spot to be in late in the season. But if you look at Miami's offense with Van Dyke, the way he throws the ball around, the way Knighton has come up with all-purpose yards, almost 100 yards every game in terms of all-purpose yards, or more than 100 yards. The way the offense has been run, it's a pretty good selling point for people looking around at the Miami offense, especially with a guy like Van Dyke and Garcia behind him, two guys that have big arms.
Yeah, they do, Joe, and they're exciting, and they both of them can run the football. I think that's what's important to note. And if their surroundings are what they are, and you're only going to you'll lose Harley and you'll lose Rambo. Those are two big names and a lot of production after this senior class leaves offensively. But this offense is designed to put up points. It's done it this year, and it has gotten better with a lot of youth.
100%. I think once again, we got to credit Tyler Van Dyke, because we all spoke and discussed what playing Florida State was all about. Just that. It was his Alabama. That's the way. It was his Alabama, because he played a little bit, but it was his Alabama, and once again, he didn't fold. It didn't start the way he wanted. It was probably a little quicker or harder, or came at him faster than maybe you can't really practice for that. And yet there he is leading the team back. They're leading late. You're on the verge of victory, and I think give the kid credit for standing in once again and giving as good a performance as he could give.
The defense was trending in the right direction in terms of playing better as games went on. Sometimes that's the identity that a team ends up with. That's where Miami was trending until the last drive against Florida State. But it's important to note there are a whole bunch of young guys on that defense.
There are, and I think those young guys on this entire football team felt Florida State. That has an effect on you, and you may not understand that as a fan, but I would put any former player on both sides of the football on the lie detector test and ask them, if you played in that as a freshman, what did you think? And they adapted, and that's going to help Tyler. Let's just stick right there, and also your safeties, right? Avante Williams and James Williams and Cam Kitchens, those guys were in there. They're young. You talk about Smith and both of them at the linebacker spot, and they will get. That was a growth spurt. Unfortunately, it came with a loss, but it was definitely going to give them something in the experience category that they'll never forget.
And I think they felt it in the locker room afterwards. We're there. You watch all the players walking in. You hear it. You sense it. It's extremely vocal and tangible. And Manny Diaz was on earlier in the week, and he talked about for Cam Kitchens, and we did the game in Penn State back in '98 or '99. It's Mike Rumpf and Ed Reed. as, I think,
Choppy
sophomores.
Fields.
As
Choppy
sophomores, I
Fields.
believe, if I'm not mistaken, those things happen. You know, with them, you remember the end, both at Miami and in the NFL, but there are moments of growth. And for Cam Kitchens, he could not have played that ball any more perfectly for like a split second. But you learn from that, you grow from that, and he has given us, those guys have given us as much as they can. And if you look at that group, you have to think to yourself, we've talked about it, imagine when they're juniors. Imagine when they're juniors, or even next year, what that looks like, how they are, how they can play, how much better they will be.
We saw Cam Kitchens in the locker room after the game, and he was very emotional right after the game. I would say that is normal, right? Or could be labeled as normal. 30 minutes later, we're still in the locker room, and he's coming out, and that kid's still very, very emotional. And I'm not talking about ranting and raving. I'm talking about upset that what happened to him. And it's unfortunate that it happened,
Of course.
but it's a lesson that he's going to learn and carry with him the rest of his life. But I'll take that. I'll take a guy like Cam Kitchens, who you got beat on that play. It'll never happen again, and you will set an example for others because that did happen.
Okay, Virginia Tech is the opponent. We'll talk more about the Hokies as we continue on the show right after this.
If you train like a pro, then you should be treated like a pro. Much like the human body, our team of sports medicine experts moves as one to achieve a singular goal. Recover your game.
Hey, it's the Good Greek Spiro, and we all know that the most important part of winning a championship is getting there. And when the Miami Hurricanes need to get their equipment to each game, they call Good Greek Moving and Storage. The Miami Hurricanes trust the Good Greek, and so should you. So move like a champ and go to goodgreek.com. Good Greek Moving and Storage, the official movers of the Miami Hurricanes.
Good Greek Moving and Storage, your superhero movers.